Hello there, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. Like I always say, it's a pleasure. Thank you for your viewership. Now, today's topic is about health matters, sickle cell disease. Now, there are different types of forms of sickle cell disease, but we are going to talk about sickle cell anemia because it's common in Kenya. And my guest today will be creating the awareness, giving us hope, and sharing her journey, her challenges, and what a sickle cell warrior has to deal with. But before we do that, if this is a kind of content that you like, kindly give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and please subscribe to my channel. So let's get into the video. Welcome to my channel, Linda. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so maybe you can start by introducing yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, my name is Linda Bosire, and I am a mother of one who is a 12-year-old, and I currently work as a product development executive in an airline. I have suffered sickle cell anemia since I was a child, and I'm also a sickle cell advocate. Hence, I take every opportunity I get to speak about sickle cell, create awareness, and also educate people who need this information.
Perhaps there's someone outside there who doesn't understand sickle cell anemia. So just give us a basic definition of what sickle cell anemia is.
Well, sickle cell anemia is one type of the many kinds of anemia. And how sickle cell is that it's a hereditary disease. It's severe in some cases and mild in others. Whereas it's considered as severe, it's we consider that patient or that individual as a sufferer, and where it is mild, we consider that patient as trait, a sickle cell trait. Yeah, so that is why you come across words such as sickle cell disease and just sickle cell trait. So if you are a sufferer, it means both your parents were carriers, or at least one of them was a sufferer. Yes, and when you are a trait, it means one of your parents had the trait, hence you also had the trait was also transferred to you. So how sickle cell is that the normal hemoglobin takes the shape of a circular, whereas for sickle cell it takes the shape of a crescent. So the crescent shape does not carry sufficient oxygen to the body. Hence, you tend to get a lot of crises. Crisis now is those painful episodes. Yes. It's quite sudden. It happens suddenly. One moment I'm here with you laughing and everything is okay, and the next is that I'm in so much pain. Yes. So that is what we call sickle cell crisis. So when the red blood cells in a crescent shape do not carry sufficient blood to the body, and sometimes because of the shape they tend to lock each other. Yeah, so when they lock, it means they go and clog at a particular vein. So it could be at any of the joints. Yes, and how to tell that that's where it has happened is that's where you are most likely to get the painful crisis and you get a swelling. Yes, so in general, I hope I have answered, or rather tried to give the definition of sickle cell, what sickle cell is. Yeah.
All right. Now let's go to your journey. How and when were you diagnosed?
Well, I was diagnosed of sickle cell when I was 3 years old.
Oh, 3.
Yes.
Okay.
I had a persistent cough. I had been coughing. My mom tells me I'd been coughing for like about 6 months.
Wow.
Yes, she kept changing the medication, nothing. We went to see different doctors, nothing. There was still no improvement. So one day, a family friend who was a nurse, my maternal side, she's the one who passed by to say hi to my grandmother, and then she had me cough, and she looked at me and she suggested that we take the test. So I
just from the blues, she looked at you.
Yes.
The cough is what triggered her that you could be having.
Yes, and the way I think maybe I looked I think I must have had jaundice. So she's the one who just asked my grandma maybe we should take a test and to rule out if I have sickle cell or not. And voila, yeah, it was tested, and that's how I was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia.
Wow. So I can imagine during prenatal care for your mom, antenatal care, no one noticed. She didn't notice.
Yeah, and my mom, I can't blame her because my mom was young. She had, a long time people would give birth when they're young. Yeah. So she was young. She didn't know much about sickle cell. She didn't know what even to do.
Now, Linda,
yes.
Even now, I'm thinking, when I was just reading about it, screening needs to be done when the child is born. I'm thinking when we gave birth, there was nothing. There was no screening,
exactly.
So you wouldn't know. I wouldn't blame your mom.
Yes.
She wouldn't have known then,
Yeah.
So when now the nurse suggested you do the test and it came positive, how was that journey now for your mom, your caregivers, and everybody around you?
I would say the journey wasn't easy.
Okay.
One, especially because my mom, I suspect she was in denial for a very long time. The last thing a parent wants to hear is that their child is having probably a terminal illness or this chronic disease that will constantly and regularly put them down. Yes. My dad accepted, and he decided to live positively with it.
Yes.
In fact, he made a point of reading any information he came across about sickle cell, listening to anything with regards to sickle cell, and just trying to find ways through the doctors who, of course, were attending to me, how best he can manage me from home. Because, you can manage a sickle cell patient from home in a very, very good way. You don't have to visit the hospital unless the patient is very, very sick. Yes.
Wow. At what age did you come to realize I'm sick, I'm taking too much medication? Maybe when you're young, you didn't know why you're taking so much medication.
I think I started questioning a bit early, probably around 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Because I realized I was being refrained from playing with my mates. I couldn't play for long. Yeah, maybe if I would go out to play, then after a few minutes I'm being called back home to take a rest, drink water. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's this daily medication that I was on, and I would ask, why is it that I'm the only one who's taking it and my siblings are not? Yes. But I think I still couldn't understand that I have sickle cell up to when I was 13. When I was 13 in class 8, when we were doing the mock, I fell ill that day. And I was taken to the hospital. So my classmates came to see me from school, and I think they got wind of, or they must have heard that I suffer from sickle cell anemia, which I didn't know about. So one of them had heard about sickle cell, but also didn't have the correct information. Yeah, so there was that misconception that if you have sickle cell, you won't live up to the age of 18.
Oh no! So your friends are just looking at you. This one's oh, Linda.
So she went and told everyone, oh my God, Linda has sickle cell. And people who have sickle cell, they don't live up to the age of 18. They can die anytime.
No. Did you hear that?
So I had that. It got to me.
Oh God,
you can imagine the shock.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm about to do exams.
Yeah.
So I waited in the evening. I asked my dad. And he told me, no, don't worry about that. That's a misconception. There are people who have lived so longer than even a normal person would. Yes, and yet they have sickle cell. But I still wasn't that convinced. Yeah, but anyway, I trusted my dad. I was
know.
The dad has seen.
He says it, we're good to go.
Here I am.
Yeah, you are. Thank God,
Yeah.
All right. The stigma, was it there in high school? And now that you've realized, now I need to take medication, how was that? Did you used to carry your tablets to school? Or were you even in a boarding school or day school? Walk with us that journey.
I would say high school was quite a culture shock for me. That's for one.
Yeah.
Because I went to a private primary school where we were never caned. I am so eager to go to a boarding school. In fact, I'm the one who insisted on to go to a boarding school. My dad was so hesitant about it. He didn't want me to go to a boarding school because of my health condition. So fine, I passed my exams, was called to a boarding school, a good one, near girls. And then I carried my medication to school. I would say, I think that the best people, among the people who I've come across that didn't really give me a hard time in terms of taking care of myself and also supporting me.
In high school?
Yeah, in high school. I had the best school mother.
Wow. Oh, that's nice. So the transition was really nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
You didn't struggle,
I didn't struggle. The only thing that I struggled with was the fact that I realized, oh my God, people are being caned in high school.
That was your worry.
People are being caned in high school.
All right.
Yeah, and it stressed me a lot. I used to think if I'm caned, I'll fall sick.
I know you'll be sick. You want to mean, Linda, you were never disciplined as a child.
You'd rarely find me on the wrong side.
Really?
Never.
Oh, wow.
My dad...
No wonder they're shocked.
My dad would tell everyone I'm the best kid. I never gave him a hard time. One, I hate wronging people.
Okay.
I don't like annoying you because I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
And then two, I guess as a kid, I was just an introvert.
Okay.
Kabisa.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, it's in my adulthood that I've started socializing and networking with people, even talking to people.
Really?
I would never.
You're such an introverted person.
I was such an introverted person to the extent that I couldn't even leave my bedroom to come and say hi to my own relatives. My aunt, my uncle. Yes, because I was so shy.
So shy.
I would come say hi looking down.
Looking down, you're like, can I say
go
hi
back
and go?
and run back. And that time I have been forced, literally
I know
forced
you've
by
been
my mom.
called out.
Come and say hi to you. Yes.
Oh, okay. Talk to us a little bit about a trigger. You know, like you said, to some people it's severe, to some it's mild. So how is the trigger for you, Linda? How does it occur?
I would say in my childhood it was severe.
Okay.
But I think I'm outgrowing it slowly. It's mild currently. I would say maybe in a year, the most I can be admitted would be twice.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I've also noticed a pattern recently. It's so funny. If this year I have a crisis that would warrant admission, next year I'd be clean. As in like the whole year. So let me start with 2018. So 2018, I was sick. 2019, I was clean. 2020, I was sick. 2021, I was clean. This year, I was sick from January to March. The triggers for me could be, they vary.
Okay.
Could be stress. Maybe I'm stressed from work or I'm stressed from schoolwork because I'm also currently in school.
Okay.
Yes. Or maybe a sudden change of weather.
Okay.
Especially extreme weather changes, like from very hot to cold. My parents live in Kisumu, so I frequent Kisumu a lot. So Kisumu is very hot.
Yes.
So when I come back here, the difference in weather change could also trigger a crisis. An infection, any infection can trigger a crisis, be it flu, be it a bacterial infection in the body. Any pain can also trigger a crisis.
Oh, okay.
Yes, like for instance, labor pain. If you have, maybe you've hit your arm somewhere and it's so painful, it could also just trigger a crisis if it's not well taken care of. Malaria also, and we are so at risk to suffer malaria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's advised that if you are visiting or you live around malaria-prone areas, you should be taking a drug called Paludrin. So Paludrin is like a prophylaxis. It helps prevent malaria. Yeah, but just not that alone. You also need to sleep under net, mosquito net. Yeah. Hydration triggers a crisis. Yeah, if I don't take sufficient water and my system is used to taking like almost 2.5 liters or 3 liters a day, my system will feel so dehydrated that I can even suffer a crisis. I was was in Kisumu for December holidays, and I came back mid-January, 17th, yeah. So 5 days later, I was here in the house, was okay. In fact, I cleaned the whole house, which I can do under normal circumstances. But so when I went to bed at night, I just started feeling pain on my legs, and I just knew, oh my God, that pain is coming. You can know by the way, you can tell it is coming. And you can also tell that this is a bad one.
Oh goodness.
I started feeling pain in my leg, then it followed by a sharp pain on along the spine. And that one is usually a sign of a severe crisis coming. Okay. So I was alone in the house.
Linda. No, your husband and the child are back in Kisumu?
My husband actually doesn't work here.
Oh, okay. Where was your son?
He's in Kisumu.
Wow.
So it's really, really not a good thing for someone who has sickle cell to stay alone.
I can imagine,
But I thank God my cousin was here. She came. Actually, it's my husband who called. Okay. Coincidentally at that time. All right. And he found that I was in a painful crisis, and he called my cousin to get an ambulance to come and pick me. So they took me to the hospital. Wow. So I was admitted. 5 days later discharged, and then back again, I think like in less than a week.
Again, the pain still came.
So because when you go to the hospital, the first thing they do is run tests to check if you have an infection that could have triggered the crisis. So they did that, and yes, they found out. Then they also check if you have malaria. That is also mandatory. Just to be on the safe side, and also your HP levels. So how low is your blood level, and so that they could see if would that warrant a transfusion, or is it something they can just manage without transfusion? Okay. Yes.
Oh, wow. And you've talked about transfusion. Have you ever done a transfusion while you're young or at your adult age?
Funny enough, ever since I was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia, I didn't have transfusion until I got pregnant.
I bet by now your partner knew that you are an SCD patient. How did you prepare in terms of antenatal clinics?
So what happens is, first thing first, when I got pregnant, and when I realized I was pregnant, the doctor asked me if my partner knows about my sickle cell status. So I told the doctor yes. Asked if we have ever tested him for sickle cell. So I told him no. Okay. And he recommended that he should also test for sickle cell, just to rule out and get to know what the status of the baby would be. So my partner was very much willing. He went for the test. It turned out to be negative. That was the best news.
I know, right?
Because you're panicking, you know, being a Luo, and sickle cell is more prone in Nyanza, Western and coastal region. Very true. Yes. The doctor was scared that I would suffer crisis, maybe frequent crisis during that period. Okay. But trust you me, God is good. I never suffered a painful crisis even once.
For 9 months?
For 9 months. Hallelujah. Okay, I didn't go to 9 months because, again, if you have sickle cell, they don't wait for the D-Day.
You don't go full time?
Yeah, I don't go full time. Okay. I know I was about 32.
Yeah, so the journey was, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, by the way. I enjoyed my pregnancy. Unfortunately, the gyna that was attending to me at that time, I think he hadn't dealt with the sickle cell patient before, or maybe it was just one of those oversights. Okay. Yeah, I can't really blame him, but there was a mistake. He pulled me off from folic acid, which is a very vital supplement for a sickler, and said whatever is in pregnant care would be sufficient. Oh my goodness. Yes. So that was the reason that led to my transfusion, the first transfusion, because I kept having these fevers at night, burning sensation at the sole of my feet, and that's usually a nerve issue, the burning sensation. Okay. That is also a complication of anemia. Yes, it means your blood levels are quite low. Yes. Headaches all the time. And you can't keep taking painkillers when you're pregnant. So I decided, let me go to the hospital and just have myself checked. My doctor who sees me for sickle cell anemia, he's called Professor Mwanda, and he realized I was too anemic. So he said, we can't deliver you with this low HP. So we have to boost it, and therefore you have to be transfused. You can't imagine how I was against it.
Why were you against it?
I've never been transfused in my life. So it's like, and then there are these misconceptions like, not just you inherit their good and the bad. Yeah, and then you could also get complications. You know, this blood is not even sufficient for you alone, leave alone the baby.
So you need it.
Yeah, so you need the transfusion. And he told me, you consult whoever you want to consult.
But at the end of the day, you need it.
I called my mom. He spoke to my mom. My mom was against it. He spoke to my dad. My dad agreed. He explained it to my grandma. My grandma was also okay with it.
Yeah.
So it's my grandma who convinced me. I said, okay, fine, she go pandi. I was like, God.
Is it painful?
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's not painful. The only thing that happens is, we don't assume this depends on individuals. My veins are very thin and they're crooked. So I cannot, the cannula used on me is not for an adult. Mostly they use for children. Yes. So since my veins are so thin and the cannula is small, my veins tend to tissue all the time when I'm being transfused, because blood is thick, so it blocks. And when it blocks, it means they have to do another one, and another one, and another one.
Okay, so that was where the challenge was.
Yes. But at 32, the doctor, the gyna who was seeing me at our clinic, our company clinic, recommended that I should just now be seen at the main hospital where I would deliver. So he gave me the letter to go and book. So me, when I went to book, I'm being 2 weeks later, I'm being told, where? I thought you were here 2 weeks ago. We didn't deliver you. I'm like, no, I wasn't delivered. I'm not yet even there. And they're like, we are delivering you. You know, for Sickles, we don't wait for 40 weeks. I was like, oh my God.
Today, I'm sure you're not even packed.
I wasn't packed. I wasn't prepared psychologically. Even, as in like, I had to lie. I had to lie to them and tell them, you know what? I have something that I must take care of at home. So I'll come back tomorrow. Yes. So they even forced me to sign an indemnity form.
Really?
In case anything happens to me, I'll be held liable, not the hospital. So I was like, okay, fine. My biggest worry was, guess what? I hadn't done my hair. I hadn't done my hair.
No women.
I hadn't done my hair, and then I was imagining I'll be home with a small baby that I won't be able to leave it to go to salon.
So
I better just do my hair at once. So
you went to the salon, made your hair.
I went to salon, made my hair, did my eyebrows, then checked in the following day.
Like, I am ready for this baby. Let's do this.
And the nurse looked at me and she was like, clearly I see what you are going to take care of.
Oh my goodness.
Funny enough.
That's funny.
I don't remember any time I've ever been in hospital that I am not dolled up. Hair has to be done, my brows has to be done.
You're extra.
And sometimes, you know, even with a crisis, it's usually a coincidence. Like when I was admitted in Jan, one would think I had planned for it. Because the nurses were looking at me. In fact, one of them asked me, Linda, were you planning to go for a date before you came here? And I was like, no, I was home. I just went to salon to make myself up because I knew I was to report to work on Monday. And she was like, if anyone comes here, if it's not for the pain, they wouldn't think you're sick.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. The gyna was considering to do a CS because I wasn't dilating. And I was in pain, and they kept on increasing the medication for inducing labor. Now I was being given tablets before the drip.
That was
so my doctor told them, no, CS is not an option. You have to deliver her normally, because first, I just transfused her 2 weeks ago. And even as she has come back 2 weeks later, it seems like I already lost some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no way you're losing more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said, just try the best you can to deliver her normally. So the delivery process was a nightmare for me. I was in pain. I was on oxygen. I had a drip here for the painkiller.
Yes.
And also hydrating me just to keep me hydrated because I wasn't eating. And then I had also another drip on this other hand now for the inducing of labor, and
3 days.
it was bad. Yeah, except for the experience of labor, I would say I was okay.
Yeah, the baby came. And was the baby screened?
Good question.
Yeah.
I am a sickler, and my baby was not screened.
Why?
I guess because not every hospital does it.
But it ought to have, right?
It ought to have.
Even your doctor and your gyna.
So my baby wasn't screened for sickle cell, and we went home. So one day, my son was feeling unwell, and I was scared. Could he be suffering from sickle cell?
Yeah.
Yes.
And let me ask you, Linda, knowing that you have that condition, did you not want the baby to be screened? Did you not ask those questions to your doctor?
Funny enough, I was conflicted. I really wanted him to. I wanted to know his status. Yeah. But again, I was scared of this bad news. I was like, what if? Yeah.
Yes. You're in a dilemma.
I was in a dilemma. So I was like, what you don't know won't kill you.
It won't hurt you.
So I kept just pushing it aside and shelving the idea. So I told the dad, please, just take him to the hospital and insist they have also to test for sickle cell.
He didn't even go.
I didn't go. I couldn't bear the bad news.
All right.
So he was like, okay, fine. Then they went. He was treated and he was screened at our company clinic. Yeah. And it turned out that he was okay.
He was negative. Oh my God, those are the best news ever, right?
Best news ever.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I would say I really thank God. Yeah. I don't know whether if I would be able to hack it if I had a sickler child as well.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Oh, wow. But for those who have kids who are sicklers and they're also sicklers, I would just tell them, okay, they are strong. They are so strong. Yeah, I can imagine. They should never ever think of themselves, of anything less of themselves. Yeah, because it takes a lot to take care of yourself as a sickler and also take care of a young one.
Wow. Talk to us a little bit about your nutrition. Are there things that you ought to eat and others not ought to?
Yes, nutrition is very key when it comes to sickle cell anemia. Yeah. You need to eat a very balanced diet. Do more of the green veggies. Okay. And avoid, or rather, try and minimize red meat as much as possible. Okay. Yes. Do a lot of green veggies and even fruits. Yes. Beetroot is one of the key ingredients that you need in any maybe juice or fruit. You could eat it raw, you could blend it and mix it with probably a different type of fruit like mango and just enjoy it, because it's very hard just to take beetroot like that. Sure. So it helps to boost your blood other than one waiting until the blood level is so low and then you have to be transfused in hospital. Okay. Yeah. I mean, challenges we encounter as sickle cell warriors are one, we have financial challenges. Majority of sickle cell warriors come from humble families, humble backgrounds. They're not able to afford this costly medication, because you can imagine for someone who lives in Nyanza or Western Kenya, they have to take that paludrin tablet twice a day. A tablet costs 35 shillings. Yes, so in a day it's 70 bob. That is just one of the medication he or she is supposed to take in a day. There is also folic acid that you need to take. There's also hydroxyurea. Hydroxyurea, it depends with the brand you're taking. And you're supposed to take it also daily. And there could be also many other medications that you need to take depending on the current status of your of your health. The other challenge that we also encounter is that yes, there are doctors who've taken a keen interest in knowing more about sickle cell anemia and how to manage the sickle cell patient. But there are some hospitals that you'd go to, unfortunately, they have very little knowledge about sickle cell. Yes. So they tend to do a trial and error on you.
Oh no.
So, and you have to really know yourself, because the doctors would give you painkillers like paracetamol. That is nothing for a sickle cell painful crisis.
Wow.
Nothing.
It doesn't help.
Paracetamol doesn't even work for me sometimes for a normal headache. It doesn't.
Wow.
Yeah. So someone may say sickle cell warriors are drug addicts, but it's not by choice.
It's not.
Yes, it's because of the intense pain you go through, and the doctors who know how to manage sickle cell know to whether first thing first, run tests to check if there's an infection or anything that could have triggered the crisis like malaria.
Yeah.
And before even you start treating that, you need to immediately start managing the pain. Immediately you receive the patient.
Okay.
Yeah. So pain management involves giving painkillers. In my advocacy, I always tell people, as you grow older and get to know yourself better and you're a sickle cell warrior, please know what works for you. When you go to hospital and you realize this doctor is not helping you, tell them. Maybe they're not even aware.
It's true.
Yes, just tell them there's no harm. But if you tell them and they are still not helping you, move, change the hospital, or even ask for a change of doctor, because, I mean, you as a patient, you have the right to accept treatment or even decline it. So me, I would say, why should you settle for mediocre at the risk of your health? At the end of the day, you're even paying for it. Yes. Because the faster the pain is managed, by the way, it reduces the chances of you being admitted. I would say the better chunk of the population that suffers sickle cell disease are not employed. Yeah, they're not employed because it's very hard to get an understanding employer, so they can't keep jobs for long because you're always sick, you're away sometimes even for long periods. Yeah, so majority of them are not employed, businesses are not doing well, they're just hustling. Yeah, so it's quite a challenge for them to afford some of these necessities that they need, like medication and a good meal, and even save something little to take themselves to the hospital when they need to. Yes. Government is a very, very key institution when it comes to this request, because it's a request that every sickler would tell you the first time they meet you. So we are appealing really to the government just to try as much as possible and help us get this medication, some of this medication for free. Yeah. I would also appeal to employers to just give opportunity to these people to work and showcase their talent. Be patient with them. Yes, I know employers also are under timelines, strict timelines. You want some projects delivered, but you could find a way of where to place them. Yes.
Wow, amazing. And apart from nutrition and medication, are you in a support structure, like a foundation, to just bring awareness, to support someone else?
We have many support groups. We have that is called Sickle Cell Uhuru Trust. Yeah, that the founder is called Eunice Owino. I work with her in that foundation. Yes, to just help people, support people, create more awareness, and even just impart this knowledge to people about sickle cell disease. And I tell people, yes, you're a sickler, yes, you have so many challenges, life is beating you left, right, and center, but please, don't pity party. Me, I don't like pity party. Yes, I know. I am sick, I will go to work. Sometimes I would weigh my options. Can I go to work? Then I drive to work. Yeah, we show people that you are also someone of substance. Yeah, that you have something to bring to the table, and that you are also someone who's valuable in the society. In as much as you have that underlying condition, it is nothing but just a backdrop.
Wow, amazing. I'm just listening to your story and getting all this encouragement, Maybe you can give us your parting shots.
Wow, my parting shot would be, I want Kenya to reach the levels of Nigeria. I'm trying to look for a benchmark in Africa. So Nigeria would be the benchmark.
All right.
I'm looking forward and praying and to get to a day when Kenya will reach the levels of Nigeria in terms of sickle cell anemia the awareness, the education that people have about it, and even these big hospital institutions, they should know when they're supposed to screen. Yeah. And also ensure that screening is done upon where parents can get the knowledge and information about sickle cell disease. So if a parent has presented a child with sickle cell, these doctors should also be human enough. Find out how to break that news in a gentle way to the parent. It's not easy for a parent to be told, you know, you have a child who has sickle cell anemia. Yes. If you see your sister or your brother is a sickler, they are always quiet, locking themselves in their room, just try and talk to them, try and cheer them up, try and find out what is going through in their mind, because some of them, you know, they go through all this and share in the groups, in those platforms I am in. Someone sadly share that they want to commit suicide because they're not getting the support from their family. They don't feel loved. Yes. Some have been rejected in their relationships. They were dating. They'll tell you, we were dating, it was all okay until the point I broke the news that I am a sickler, and then the guy decided to break it off. So it's something, I mean, people should know that we are normal people. We are just normal. I'm normal. I look normal.
And there's life beyond.
Yeah, exactly. I can do everything that any other person can do. Of course, with a certain limit.
Wow. Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing your journey, creating awareness. I know you guys have learned one or two things. There's life beyond being a sickler, you know. And also something else, she talked about support. Let's support the community. And thank you so much. Until we meet again, it's adios.
Bye.